Whether you're looking for manufactured or natural stone to accent or update your exterior or interior project of any size, Centurion Stone of Iowa offers a variety of styles, patterns, and colors for every need. Centurion Stone, our own manufactured stone product, has the look and feel of natural stone and is available in over 200 color and pattern combinations. We also provide natural stone for interior and exterior projects. Our Des Moines and Omaha locations are open daily. Browse our wide variety of product samples with our helpful staff. They'll answer any questions that you have. Check us out on the web at centurionstoneofiowa.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to halftime here on the Cyclone Fanatics social media pages. My name is Chris Williams, joined today by Matty Van Winks.
What's up? What's up? How we doing?
Never been better. How are you?
Man, I was feeling pretty good until that interception and touchdown in half. But yeah, that's Cyclone football, right?
Real quick, want to pour one of these bad boys in your coffee. We'll be doing this tonight, Matty. Coming over for a little trick-or-treat action, a little Irish cream. I like this amaretto one. They started doing this a year ago. It's really good stuff over there.
I haven't had that one.
It's awesome.
I've had the salted caramel. Do they still do that one?
Yeah, I got some of that right over here.
That's good stuff. That's perfect for fall.
17-6. Iowa State leads in a game. Man, it feels like you should be up more. Yep. Iowa State gets the ball coming up in the third quarter. The defense has really been lights out.
Really good.
I felt like for Iowa State. The difference in the game, third down, 5 of 7 for Iowa State, 2 of 7 for Baylor. Cyclones averaging 5.7 yards per play. Really key sequence at the end of the half there with TJ Tampa getting called for targeting. So the good thing is that he only has to sit out this week.
Yep. He
can play next week against Kansas, who just beat Oklahoma today in what was a upset. I mean, it was like a 7.5. I think it closed at 7.5 points.
For Oklahoma. Man, that top of the Big 12 is looking tight now, man.
And that's why it's like, God, get the hell out of Waco with a win, and you're tied for first in the league, for crying out loud.
Yep.
Because Oklahoma was the only team that hadn't lost. Some analysis on this one, real quick. I feel like this is probably the worst half that we've seen from Rocco Beck since they kind of turned the playbook over to him. Guessing Matt Campbell, after the way that half ends, you probably wish he's just take a knee and get out, but that's hindsight. I think that people are also going crazy if you commit, 2 15-yard passes and you're right there in field goal range to possibly go up by 20, maybe 24 at the half. I don't blame them for doing what they've done, but we've seen pretty rare for Rocco, Matt, where he's had a couple of decisions. There was that intentional grounding, which was a little bit kind of a weird play.
Well, then he had that throwaway. We've seen him do that a few times where he just gets to the edge and he thinks he has a guy. We saw that from Brock Purdy a lot, remember? We saw
he plays a lot like him.
He would just look and look and look, and he'd think he have a tight window, and it almost gets picked. He almost had one of those, got away with it. But, yeah, I mean, overall he's looked pretty good. He had some great balls. That one to Higgins, that first touchdown was
and the other one that he missed. He missed Higgins on the one that would have been 6 for sure.
Yep. Yes. He had some nice balls. He had some ones that you wish he would have had back. But, I mean, overall, he threw a pick. Sama had the fumble, that's their first fumble of this season that they've given up. That's a pretty crazy stat. But, man, the running game, too, looked pretty good. Sanders broke off for a nice 27-yard run. Really set up that passing game really nicely. I liked what I saw from the running game.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, too, that we're going to see more of that in the second half. I mean, it's pouring right there. I still have the TV on.
It's just a little sell. I think it's going to be gone in the second half, so hopefully that's
I actually would prefer it without TJ Tampa.
Yeah.
Because Baylor's offense has the ability to go out and throw for 300 and a half. Now, it certainly hasn't shown the ability today against Iowa State. I mean, Iowa State, like, the frustrating part is they look like the clearly superior team. I haven't looked to see what the second half line is, but I'm guessing Iowa State's a pretty big favorite.
Look.
Just based on how that thing played out in the first. I mean, you watch these two teams, and one looks clearly superior to the other. That's why I feel like they're really important first drive to start the second half here, because Iowa State's kind of screwing around with them here. This shouldn't really be much in question going into the third quarter, just based on, again, how the defenses play. I'm going to run through some stats here, Matt, real quick. You can find that line.
Yep.
Baylor averaging only 3.4 yards per play, 2.9 yards per rush. That's the Iowa State defense that we're used to under John Haycock. I mean, those are the type of numbers that you come to expect. You're creating turnovers. More importantly, you're getting a little bit of pressure with three every once in a while. But again, it's just these big mistakes. The end of that half was actually that PAT was a pretty big deal, keeping them down 11 as opposed to 10 for obvious reasons.
The line's at 11.5 right now, so it's pretty much right at what you're seeing. But so they think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched second half. But the Contreras field goal was also a pretty big one too.
Yeah.
I mean, for him to go out there and hit a 42-yarder, he's been great this year. I mean, he's been super reliable, made his last 6 kicks for you. For a game that might come down to, 7 to 10 points, that's gonna be huge. And like you said, that missed extra point by Baylor could hurt them. We'll see. I mean, obviously, you look at the offensive numbers. Iowa State's kind of almost doubled them up in certain categories. And I was looking at time of possession. It seemed like Iowa State had the ball a lot more, but Baylor put together a couple long drives there, but really weren't able to do anything. Obviously, turned the ball over on downs in Iowa State territory. Iowa State had a couple quick scores. So 17-6, man. I would have liked it to be 17-0, but
yeah,
it's all right.
It's funny because, I was thinking before we went on, even at 17-0, I felt like it was a bigger discrepancy than that, right? Like it felt like Iowa State was just that much better than them. But we'll take it. I think most people would have taken 17-6 getting the ball to start the third quarter when you start this thing, as a 2-point favorite or whatever the game closed at. I want to see how Beck bounces back. I also want to see Nate Shieldhouse keep feeding him, right? Like, he had a rough half. Don't shy away from him. Don't go away from what's working. Don't get conservative here.
Yeah, I think I get the ball back to start the half. I think that first drive is going to tell you a lot about how this second half could play out. If they're super aggressive, I'd like to see what they do, especially with the weather. We'll see what happens. But
if it's raining,
they're gonna hit the ground, I think. But
part of me, thinks that Campbell's just going to try and throw this thing in a phone booth and just kill clock.
That's why I thought they get up 17-0, and then they throw the ball. I'm like, what? Come on, that's not typical of a Matt Campbell team, I don't think. But we've seen some differences this year, though, right?
That's the thing, like, because I got all these people bitching at me on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I remember you, and you were the same person bitching at me because they weren't aggressive enough a month ago.
Right.
So it's kind of like
we've seen them flip a little bit.
They have. They've changed his philosophy some, and it's worked. They haven't really lost since doing so. And that was just a bad decision. And I'd love to know, too, I feel like that may have been some on Knoll as well without having seen it too much. I don't know. I'd like to see another look at that one. But nonetheless, I'm not going to bitch at them for it because they're going out there and they're trying to – they're playing to win, not playing not to lose. And, had they done that against Ohio, they probably would have won by double digits with this group. Definitely. So,
for sure.
Real quick, let's go around the Big 12. We'll be here for post-game as well. I will. Matt, are you we got Halloween here in town tonight. Are you dressing up as anything? Did you get a costume?
So on Amazon I bought a pumpkin like Hawaiian shirt. It's a little cold for that, but I'm gonna do layers.
It feels a little off.
I'm gonna do layers underneath, and I'm gonna do the pumpkin Hawaiian over the top.
Love it.
Yeah, you'll see.
Love it.
Let me get this pulled up.
I'm gonna be a Ghostbuster. See that coming up. Halftime in Austin, Texas leads BYU 21-3. Earlier today, we've already knocked out most of the Big 12 schedule today. Shocker to some in Lawrence, Kansas 38-33.
What that line close at? Was Kansas
like 7.5? So everybody was pounding Kansas. I got a couple of takes on this. One, I'm glad Kansas won for a lot of reasons. Because I think next week could be freaking awesome too if Iowa State can pull this thing out.
Gabriel was 14 of 19 with a pick, no passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns.
He wasn't great. But that was their really philosophy. Disappointed in Oklahoma the last couple of weeks. I thought they were better. Mm-hmm. The way they started and they were just dominant on both sides and. But nonetheless, I'm glad Kansas beat them. Like for a lot of different reasons. That's great. Kansas State continues to flex its muscles and is making a case that it might be, I think everybody had them pegged at 3 in the league. They may be in the top 2. We'll see. They've gotten a lot better. I need to see what their stats were. Will Howard played the most. Did Avery Johnson 5 of 6 with a touchdown. He didn't really run much today. So it's still Will Howard's team. I didn't watch any of that game, full disclosure. And then it was
you look at the latter half of the schedule for Iowa State. You got Kansas coming in for homecoming. Kansas State still left on the schedule. So these last few games aren't going to be gimmies. We knew they weren't, but man, that turnaround in Kansas and Lawrence, team scares me a little bit. As much as it pains me to say. No
doubt. And then West Virginia went on the road as a dog and beat UC. I don't know why Central Florida was a 7-point favorite in that game.
0-5 in the Big 12.
Yeah, all these new teams, and then you've got Cincinnati at Oklahoma State tonight.
Yeah, I'll give you credit, man. You said from the jump these new teams coming in, it's going to take some adjusting. You said that early on.
It always does.
Yep.
The realignment. There's like 2 or 3 examples in history where a team in realignment goes to the new league and wins right away. Mm-hmm. Missouri did it when they were at the peak of their program in that shitty SEC East.
I do think BYU.
TCU took like 6 years before they were decent in the Big 12.
Yep. I think BYU is going to be all right. They're always right there. I mean, they're never like terrible. They're always kind of this.
My thing on BYU is they have the same players every year. They get the same guys. If you're a Mormon kid in Utah, like that's where you're going. Right. So their floor is going to be a lot higher, but their ceiling's probably going to be a lot lower in this new league for them. That's my opinion on it, at least.
Yep.
All right. Thank our sponsors, Carl Auto Group, Fairway Meeting Grocery, Centurion Stone of Iowa. I will be back for right after the game. Hopefully Iowa State wins this, as they clearly should, but that would be a meltdown of epic proportions to blow this one. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you got it. I'll see you later tonight.
Get yourself some Cody Road, baby.
Cheers, everyone.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you after the game.